Are you looking for the best printers? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best printers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Brother HL L3280 CDW Color Printer. The Brother HL L3280 CDW is built like a tank. The paper drawer opens and closes with a solid thunk, the ink access panel lifts open without any flex, and even the paper catchers you can manually flip up to catch printed papers are remarkably solid. I used one of its predecessors, the HL L3210 CDW, for 5 solid years without a single malfunction. And this model is just as well made. I'd expect it to last for years. More importantly, it performed very well in all 3 of the speed tests, as expected with a laser printer, although it wasn't the fastest on the list. The Canon MF665 CDW is a speed demon. Also expected is that this is one of the more expensive printers to operate. It needs 4 toner cartridges, each of which runs about $75 to $80. They last a long time, but long enough to make them cheaper than an inkjet. That said, it's still less expensive than that quick printing Canon. Setup was easy and fairly quick. The bright touchscreen was easy to read in sunlight. I set up the printer on a desk in front of a west-facing window at midday, and I had no problems reading the screen. I'd expected my hot dog fingers would be too big to type comfortably on the 2.7-inch capacitive touchscreen, but I didn't register any mistypes during my testing. Touch screens are far quicker to use than buttons, and so I prefer them on printers. Ease of use is one of the most important qualities in a home printer, in my humble but seasoned experience. The HL L3280 CDW didn't fight me when I was loading ink cartridges, navigating through the intuitive menus via the touch screen, or when adjusting the paper guides for different sizes of printer paper. This brother is a one-trick pony, though. It prints very well, but it's not an all-in-one, so that's all it's going to do. There's no built-in function of copying, scanning, or faxing. While the print time for 10 color test pages on this brother and the Brother MFC J4355DW were close, this one had a delay of 12 seconds when it first received the printing details. Then it began to shoot out the pages much more quickly than the MFC J4355DW, which earned its quick print time because it began printing immediately. I would expect the HL L3280 CDW to outpace the MFC J4355DW more and more as you print additional pages. Like a heavier, more powerful car that takes longer to get going from a stop but has a higher top speed, once the HL L3280 CDW gets underway it prints very quickly. Number 2. Brother MFC J1360DW Color Inkjet All-in-One Printer. Unlike other sub-$150 budget tier printers I tested, such as the Canon Pixma TR7120 and HP ND6552E, the Brother MFC J1360DW relies on 4 separate CMYK ink cartridges. That's cyan, magenta, yellow and key, which is a technical term for black ink. CMYK cartridges have a few advantages over the tricolor cartridges used in other budget printers. Most budget printers use a single tricolor cartridge, which sounds cheap and convenient, but forces you to replace all of the ink as soon as any color runs dry. You wind up losing money in the long run. CMYK printers also tend to produce higher quality color prints, in my experience, too. It prints as slow as molasses when you compare it to a more expensive printer, but that's to be expected for something that costs just over $100. This is not going to serve you if you need to print off a large number of sheets at a time. Teachers and professors would do well to aim a little higher, for example. But if you need a cheap, just-in-case printer, the slow speed is a fine trade-off for the price, and the MFC J1360DW is a well-made option that performs well for its price point. Number 3. Canon imageCLASS MF665 CDW All-in-One Duplex Laser Printer. That's no moon. It's a space stat. No, it's a printer. The Canon MF665 CDW is absolutely enormous. Like the Death Star, but for legal documents. It weighs 48.5 pounds, and might qualify as an emotional support animal if you took it outside. Wrestling it out of the box, then lifting it onto the desk in my office, left me rubbing my back. But the bulk corresponds to some brawn under the hood. As I mentioned before, the MF665 CDW was the fastest printer I tested, handily beating my best overall pick, the Brother HLL3280 CDW. On larger jobs, I would expect it to outpace my other recommendations even more, based on its 53.8-second double-sided print test time. There was a delay at the start, but once it got going, it spat those sheets out, rapid fire. The setup's a bit of a mixed bag. Canon's Easy Connection setup software works only on Windows, so that means you have to set it up through the printer's screen if you don't have a PC. But that isn't as big a problem as it could be. The printer has a large 5-inch color touchscreen that's easy to see and easy to use, even with big hot dog fingers. Setup through the app wasn't as easy as with the Brother and Epson printers, but at least Canon's setup website worked, so it fared better than the HP printers I tested. Also, it has a scanner, but it's just SOSO, since it only supports 24-bit color. Most scanners, even those that come as part of a printer, support 48-bit color. The scanner lid can accommodate thick, hardcover books, though, so that's a plus. You don't buy this Canon for its scanner, though. If you print off huge quantities of paper regularly and don't want to spend a quarter of your life waiting on your printer, the Canon MF665 CDW makes sense. Your back, your wallet, and your shelf space will just have to take the hit in the name of pure, blistering speed. Number 4. Epson EcoTank ET2980 All-in-One Color Supertank Printer. Brother mostly dominated this latest round of printer testing, but I was surprised and impressed by Epson's distinctive EcoTank printers. While their printing speeds are a bit slow, I was impressed by how easy they were to set up and use. For people who simply hate printers, and there are a lot of you out there, the ET2980 is as headache-free as any printer I've come across. Epson's intuitive app went a long way toward making this the easiest printer to use, with simple-to-follow instructions for setup on the printer's built-in screen. Menus for printer operations and changing settings were exceptionally easy to navigate. Sometimes on complicated machines, such as printers, menus can feel like Russian nesting dolls requiring me to click a bunch of times just to find the settings I want. On the Epson, the screen I wanted was never more than 2 or 3 presses away. The screen, too, was crisp and responsive to my touch. It was a real joy to use. During setup, ink initialization took 11 minutes, but the printer prompted me to set up Wi-Fi in the meantime. It was a clever use of multitasking, but the Epson made me use the same Wi-Fi network as my phone, which I found annoying because I use a multi-band router. Aside from that initial hiccup, though, every aspect of using this printer went smoothly. The EcoTank line is defined by its unique approach to ink. Rather than using swappable cartridges, they have a reservoir that you can refill with liquid ink. You unscrew the cap off the refill bottle, open the ink reservoir access panel on the front of the printer, and plop the inverted ink bottle into a slot, one for each ink color. I was expecting a messy job, but the ink refill bottles are designed to plug into a specially shaped receiver on the reservoir, and only let ink flow once it's securely in place. I used 8 ink refills across 2 printers, and didn't spill a single drop. Color me pleasantly surprised. The ET2980's top feed paper tray is also distinctive. Most feed trays lay flat. There's nothing wrong with the operation of the ET2980's top feed tray, so long as you don't mind it looking like you have a paper rooster on your office shelf. It also has 4 ink level windows that provide a direct line of sight into each color's ink reservoir. On most other printers, to check the ink levels you have to navigate through the screen's menus, so it's easy to miss until you get the low ink warning. Here, the windows are prominent on the front of the printer. You can't miss them. They'll give you plenty of advance warning before you're out of ink. Every design decision here just feels a little different from the printer norm, but I enjoyed Epson's attention to detail. It seems like Epson zeroed on the small things that slow down real-world use when printing, checking how much ink you have left and changing settings, and enacted clever solutions to eliminate them. Epson's competition would be wise to catch on, especially when it comes to the ink level windows. Number 5. Epson EcoTank ET3950 All-in-One Color Supertank Printer. The larger Epson EcoTank ET3950 prints at nearly the same speed as its smaller sibling, but it's a more complete, all-in-one printer package, which makes a worthy spend for folks who need both a flatbed and sheet-fed scanner, and/or plan to print large reams of documents. You can load up to 250 sheets of paper into the 3950, which lets you queue up a large print job and then walk away to do something else. The ET2980 holds 100 sheets at a time, so this is a distinction that only matters for very large tasks. It also has a more conventional paper feed tray built horizontally into the bottom of the printer, which allows it to fit more easily on a shelf, with a stack of printer paper sticking out of the ET2980's top feed tray made it hard to fit on a shelf in my bookcase. Both printers have a flatbed scanner, but the ET3950 also has a sheet-fed scanner. Flatbeds have become the default, because they make it easier to copy pages from books and paper packets that may not lay flat, but sheet-fed scanners work way faster when you need to copy a large number of individual documents. You can load your stack of up to 30 sheets into the scanner tray, and then just hit scan and sit back. It'll suck the sheets through the sheet-fed scanner one at a time and scan them in. Like its cheaper sibling, Epson's ET3950 is a breeze to use. Setup was simple to follow on the larger, 2.4-inch touchscreen, and following the on-screen directions that pointed me toward an equally clean and sleek app, first-time setup was as easy as I could expect. I also ran into the same issue with connecting my phone and printer to the same Wi-Fi band, but it's a relatively minor issue. And once set up, I found that these Epson printers are incredibly easy and intuitive to use. Epson's build quality is almost right up there with Brother. I found the ET3950 to be solidly made, with no rattletrap pieces or flimsy parts that made me feel like I'd needed to baby it. I couldn't say the same for the Canon and HP printers I tested. While this is not the fastest printer I tested, that honor goes to the Brother Inkvestment MFC J4355DW, it produced pages fast enough. The ET3950 printed 10 black and white pages in 55.2 seconds and 10 color pages in 43.9 seconds, compared to the Epson's 50.9 seconds and 103.6 seconds, respectively. Ultimately, I prefer the Epson ET3950 over the Brother because, like ET2950, it is very easy to set up and use. A few extra seconds is a small price for a pleasant, reliable printing experience.